source. Wires go down to the hole, all the way down to the pump. It's a submersible pump. 3-inch pipe goes all the way down, holds the pump. This is the cap. This is the casing. If you had to, you'd disconnect your power. You could take a floor jack, place it under here, and lift this 6-7 inches and get that cap off of the casing, opening this up. Watch out, dog. Wouldn't be easy, but like I said, there's pipe going all the way down this thing. You're lifting that as you're lifting this, so like a floor jack would work pretty good. You want to have access. It'd be difficult with a pipe in there, but if you lift this up, push it over, you'll see there'll be, you get a little bit of space in between the wall, the casing, and the pipe itself. I lose glasses every day. I think these are 2.0s. Ooh, those are the strong ones. It's funny, you have a glasses you could read with, and these are just ones you buy at Walmart or whatever. I have an expensive pair, but it's the same thing you get at Walmart. But you have something you could read, a book like in your lap. But if you need to fix something, you need a stronger pair. So, these are 2.0s, and I get right down to here where without them, I can't see the end of the barrel. Anyhow, before this video, or before or after, I'll have a couple of a little video and an image there. And what that is the one you'll see the pipe that goes down into this. It's got this big casing, and the pipe goes into the ground. Power pipe and wire and everything goes down. That's our well here. That's very common if you're not up on your city water or connected to your city that way. You're going to pump water out of the ground. And so that's like I think that's a 15 horsepower pump, which is why it's decent size. Homes are typically 5 horse or less kind of thing. But anyhow, what you'll see is there's a pipe that goes down. That particular one in the video goes down 125 feet. And it's like a 3-inch pipe, galvanized. It's heavy. And then the wire goes down along the side of it, and at the base of it, you have this is not an above ground. I have one of those. The one you saw is a submersible, so it's a submersible pump at the bottom of the well. So let's say your water is off. Hey, what do you have? No power, this, that, whatever the reason is. Then the second video, or the second image I show, is a well that I have that is I have it covered. I already paid someone to pull the guts out of it. It goes down about 100 feet. It's got about 10 feet of sand in it. But anyhow, let's say you're looking at the first one. We've got the pipe going down into the ground. Pipe through the cap, which is on top of the casing, which goes all the way down into the well. You can if you can get into that, you can get down to water. Let's see, water's 100 right now. I think water here is about 65 to 70 feet is our water table. It's been down quite a bit since the big rains. Anyhow, that's where it's at. I know because my irrigation well pump for the pasture went dry this summer. Let's say you're in a situation, you got to get water, and you've got one of these wells. You got to get that cap off, okay? And I think I said it in the little video there. You could take a floor jack, put it under that pipe, and probably lift that thing a good 6 inches, okay? Now, that pipe and that cap is holding 10 sticks of 3-inch galvanized pipe. It's heavy, okay? They use a crane, they detach it, they use a crane to lift it out, and they break it down. They break it down into the 5 or 6 pieces, whatever it is. But if you could lift that thing, if you lift it a foot, so you can remove that cap off, you can drop a piece of pipe down there with a rope, okay? Depending on how much room you have, you could take something as small as a 1-inch, 1.5 inch, 2-inch maybe. Outside, I think, is a 6-inch casing, but you're competing with the pipe that's in there. So if you could lift that, get the cap off, kind of get it out of the way. Let's say you dropped a 2-inch pipe down there, or 1.5 inch, whatever. you took a piece of PVC that is, say, 1.5 inches in size, maybe 2-3 feet long, cap the bottom, then go about 2/3 of the way up and put holes in it, and then put rocks or something to weight it. So you want that, you'd have to test this outside the well, find some water somewhere, see how far. If you put some rocks, you've basically got this stick of pipe with a cap on the bottom. You throw some rocks in it, see how far it weighs itself down. Will it get into those holes where water could fall in? Okay, you're creating a bailer is what it is. And so let's say you're using let's say it's just a 1-inch pipe, and you put 3 feet of it down there. And about 1.5 feet up, let's say you put rocks in it to keep it weighted. You put some slits in there, so every time you bring it up, you're gonna bring up 1 foot by 1 inch of water. Okay? You can drop it down there, fill it up, and pull it back out, put it into a container, whatever the case is. You're gonna have a little bit of water. Now, why would you do that? Well, you'd have to be in dire straits, you know, kind of thing, because that's GC ain't worth the squeeze on that thing. If it was just, you know, if the system was still afloat, you wouldn't do that, okay? But if that was your only, like here in the valley, San Joaquin Valley, we don't have water. There ain't no rivers running around or something. It doesn't rain ever in the summertime. You'd have to go into the ground to get your water. You'd have to access some of these wells, open them up, and go down there and get water, okay? So it would be dire straits. Some say, well, why would I do that? That'd be a lot of work. You're an idiot. Go away. Okay, so you have no other source of water. The reason I bring this up now is, one, I'm sure you have one of these within a mile of you somewhere, you know, because they're everywhere here. And you could just basically, you've got to get that cap off, okay? And then you compete with whatever's down there. You got the wire, and then you've got the pipe that brings up the water. But there's got to be some space where you could have 2 or 3, 4 inches of space where you have access around this thing that you could drop that pipe in there like a bailer and pull water out of that thing by hand. You know, labor intensive and all that. But you don't have any other water, so this is a great idea. So why did I bring this up now? Well, maybe you'd want to buy the pipe now. I wouldn't want to have to look around for an empty beer can or something to throw down there and hope this works. If you had access to, you know, next time you go to the hardware store, buy one of those sticks of inch wide PVC pipe. Maybe they got 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Get a cap for it. You're into this thing, a couple of bucks, and then that's it. Maybe put a little, you know, ring on the top so you can pull this thing out, and then maybe at some point figure out how much stuff. Go to your pool. How much weight do you have to add to this pipe to get it to go deep enough to go to the perforations and water falls back into that piece of pipe that you're putting down there. Think of a bailer. It's like putting a bucket down in a well, only you're using a piece of pipe. See? I've done this before. It works if there's water in that well. But if you had a situation where you had no accident, no water or this and that, but you see some big tank over there, you know, might be operating by, you know, 3-phase power and big, huge thing, this and that. You got to you tap into that cap. You get below that cap, you can throw something in there. You could access all that water. And it's clean. That's you know, the other benefit. You don't have to treat that or anything. But yeah, I would if I have tons of pipe. I'm a pipe guy. We do landscaping type stuff and all that. We get tons of pipe. But I showed you in the one where I lift up the cap. I can put a large piece of pipe in that thing, fill it up, and pull it out of there. But I have a solar setup we're putting on top of that one. But yeah, something to think about. If you have access to one of these wells around you and times were tough and people didn't have water, you could get water that way. You could tap into that piece of PVC pipe, some rope, go to town. Yeah, love you, God bless.